lowering your taxes. That's something that every leader in this country should be focused on right now, given the fact that we're entering into an unstable trade negotiation with the United States. Every leader in this country should be focused on how to make Canada more competitive. Today, I read something that really excited me, and that was the first thing that Premier-elect Ford is going to do upon being sworn in is eliminate the carbon tax and any other policy with regard to carbon pricing that doesn't work and makes Ontario less competitive. Now, I think this is really interesting because Justin Trudeau, our Prime Minister, is currently in a trade negotiation with the United States that's going less than spectacularly. And over the last 2 years, we've watched the Americans make a lot of decisions to lower taxes, to lower regulatory burden, while Justin Trudeau has done the opposite. He's changed the rules for regulatory assessments or environmental assessments for natural resource projects. He's put in place the carbon tax, payroll taxes, raised taxes on small businesses. So while the United States is becoming more of a stable, more of a competitive place for businesses to invest, Justin Trudeau has taken us in the opposite direction, right? So, what I find really interesting is that we finally got a premier in Ontario who's saying, I get this. We need to do more to both make it easier for people to make ends meet and also to ensure that our province is in a position where we can attract investments so that we can create jobs. Now, what I find is really interesting is some of you guys have been watching the fact that there's been a lot of chat about these tariffs that the Americans are proposing and what's going to happen in the auto sector and in the manufacturing sector in Ontario. Well, what do those manufacturing utilities use, or those companies use? They use what? Electricity, right? You would think that the first thing that a Premier of Ontario should be focused on is lowering those rates, lowering the carbon tax so that they're not having to pay more to do business. The last government in Ontario did not do this. And I just think it's a really strong signal for Premier-elect Ford to be saying to business, look, we get that we're entering into a time of uncertainty with NAFTA. Here's a show of goodwill that we're trying to lower the burden for you to be able to do business in Ontario. And that is exactly the opposite of what Justin Trudeau is doing. Now, the other thing that I find really interesting is how is Justin Trudeau going to react to Premier-elect Ford's decision to do this? Him and his Environment Minister, Catherine McKenna, have been very clear that they are willing to consider legal action against provinces that won't raise taxes. So think about this for a minute. In saying that, Justin Trudeau has said that he is willing to use your tax dollars, which we don't have because he's in a huge deficit situation. So he's willing to go into debt with your tax dollars so that you will pay more taxes. Can you imagine that? He would use your tax dollars to sue you so that you would have to pay more tax. And that's the situation that we're looking at in Ontario. We're looking at that with Premier Scott Moe in Saskatchewan, who has been adamant and saying, I will not raise this tax on the people that I represent. And of course, Jason Kenney, who's seeking the premiership in Alberta, who I wholeheartedly support, has also said that he will stand against this new tax, which will make our businesses more competitive, and certainly for any of you uncompetitive, and certainly for any of you who have gone to go fill your car up in the last few days and got that shock at the pump, you'll understand why this is so important. So I think it's really important that we support Premier-elect Ford in this decision. I think that a strong Ontario as an Alberta MP, that's great, that's wonderful. But certainly I think that we also have to push back and make sure that Justin Trudeau understands that if he starts using your tax dollars to sue you to increase your taxes, that we're all going to be pretty cheesed about that. So that's something that I'm certainly going to be fighting for. We've got probably another week of the House of Commons sitting here in Ottawa before we all head back to our constituencies. This week is going to again be really focused on the fact that the government refuses to release the secret documents that show exactly how much the carbon tax is going to cost each and every one of you. I'm here in Ottawa this weekend because we forced that marathon vote to get that released. Of course, they didn't relent, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to keep the pressure up. So anyway, that's a big update. Good for you, Premier-elect Ford. You're actually doing something right off the bat that will make a material impact in all of your constituents' lives. Working hard for you in Ottawa. Have a great day.